This is the Cubs POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Chicago Cubs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Cubs POSTCAST here on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. My name is Joe George. Find me on all social media platforms at Joe George Radio. The Cubs get the win 5-4 over the Cleveland Guardians. A little stressful there in the ninth. Not the best day with runners in scoring position at the plate, but in the end, it's a win for the Chicago Cubs. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money using code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. All right, so there's lots to talk about in this game. So first of all, we'll go through PCA Suzuki, the day they had Shota Imanaga, the home runs he gave up, kind of handling everything that happened in this game. The Cubs All-Stars, the starters at least, that were out there, and a good start to July with the Cubs starting off 2-0. But we got to start there with the ninth inning. Not great. Not a great performance from Daniel Palencia. Finds a way to battle through it. I think there's some clear, it was a little frustrating that you didn't have the slider today. It's all fastball, all the lefties. Clearly, the Cleveland Guardians knew that putting as many lefties up there as possible is kind of the weakness of Daniel Palencia at this point. They felt like that was a spot to attack. They did. Again, he finds a way to battle out of it, but just was a very stressful ninth inning. Glad he found a way to get out of it. Starts off with Matt Shaw with the error, his first error since April 2nd. So kind of just everything that was going right so far for the pitching besides the three pitches from Imanaga was kind of unraveling there in the top of the ninth inning. But again, Daniel Palencia finds a way to get out of this one. It was very, very stressful to say the least there in the ninth inning. And I think there is, as the deadline gets closer, I know a lot of people in the chat and Cubs fans are asking a lot of questions about can the Cubs add to the bullpen? And I think today's an example of why you feel like it's fair, like why you would want that to be here. But I don't really, to me, it's still not the top priority for the Cubs at the deadline, but I can see why at this point you would be a little stressed watching the game today and just thinking what the Cubs have in their farm system, and the idea of potentially acquiring a closer at the deadline does feel appealing for sure. All right, now let's talk about the good stuff of this game. We'll get back to the runners in scoring position a little bit later, but we handled through the ninth inning. The Cubs get out of it. They get the win 2-0 in July and 2-0 in this series. Let's get to our Locked On Player of the Game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
All right, today's Locked On Player of the Game. We're going to go two guys on the day today. And because you have two guys that come through in a lineup when your lineup is 3 for 14 with runners in scoring position. You need a couple guys to come through and drive in your runs, and that's what happened in this one. So we're going to start off here with the Cubs' first all-star starter, their center fielder, Pete Crow-Armstrong. 2 for 4 on the day, has the infield single that scores a run, then has the triple that he overran third base. But in the end, it scored a run no matter what. Would have been nice for him to slide there, or I don't know. That was a strange play from PCA. Kind of just you could tell he was frustrated with himself after. I don't know if he just didn't realize that the ball was even coming his way or missed the slide sign. I don't know. That was a weird one, but he comes through with 2 RBIs in this one. And then Seiya Suzuki as well comes through with 3 RBIs on the day. And that's all your run support was those 2 guys. So you need Seiya Suzuki, who's going to be an all-star. I would be shocked if he's not. I know he's not in the fan vote. I'm guessing on Sunday before the Cubs play on this, Sunday night doubleheader when they announce the roster. I think Seiya Suzuki will join PCA and Kyle Tucker at the All-Star game this year. But those 2 guys are the reason why you honestly won this game today. I know it's math. They had all 5 of your RBIs, but you needed clutch hitting, and you didn't get it from really anywhere else in the lineup. Again, 3 for 14 with runners in scoring position, but Suzuki comes through twice. PCA comes through twice. Just, you need those guys. You need your best players to step up. And that's honestly, I think, kind of my view of what happened in this game is just, yes, it wasn't great all around. Not every game is going to be perfect. Not every game is going to have 10, 15 runs in it or whatever. And you're not going to go 8 for 14 instead of, with runners in scoring position. You're going to have these kind of games. You got to find a way to win. Your pitcher gives up 3 home runs, all solo, thankfully. So you need your guys to come through, and that's what Seiya Suzuki did in this game today, and that's what Pete Crow-Armstrong. So that to me is why they are today's locked on player of the game. Also, you guys are more than welcome to drop in your comments in the chat here live on YouTube as well, and plus off the air at Joe George Radio on any social media platform. Quick standing update as well. The Cubs are now 3 games up against the Milwaukee Brewers. Eventually, we're going to have a little ticker on the bottom of this live show. I just got to put it together just to keep an update, because as weird as it sounds, it's full-on standings watch. It still feels like it's early in the season to really be looking, but there's, you're more than halfway at this point, and they are right there, right behind you. So you got to win anytime you can when they lose, and the Brewers split their doubleheader today. Eric asked if I'll be going live after the All-Star game. I will not. That is not a Cubs game, so I will not be going live. I'll be on vacation that week. I'm going to take the time off, spend it with the family. So no live show for me, at least, after the All-Star game. Now let's talk about Shota Imanaga today. Look, his second start back from the injured list, he can't really complain about anything. He struggled with his fastball command a little bit, and 3 fastballs went into the basket. Like, it's not like he was getting crushed. It's not like there were multiple runners were on and he was giving up these home runs. It was these lollipop home runs that were landing in the basket. And in the end of the day, like at Wrigley, those are going to happen with the basket there, and he battled through it. So I think the second start back coming off of the injured list, this is overall, again, a very positive start for Shota Imanaga. He, again, just like Matthew Boyd, are the guys that have to push the Cubs right now. So Shota goes on the day, 5 1/3, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, 81 pitches. Not surprised there that was the decision to take him out at that point. I think they're still limiting him a little bit, because I know Tracy asked here in the chat why he didn't finish the 6th. I think it's the situation, and I think, but it's mostly just the pitch count. They're going to, build him back up, and they're going to just not put him back at a 90, 95 pitch count just yet. So that to me is why, I'm assuming why Craig Counsell's probably already said to the media at this point, since we're alive, why he's there. So solid day for Shota. Not great, not bad. Home runs, not a big deal, because again, they were cheapies. It's not like he was getting blasted out there. So overall, a good start for Shota Imanaga. Again, the Cubs are, I don't have the record in front of me right now because it's I just forgot to write it down. But they're unbelievable when he starts. It's unbelievable how many games they win, even when he's not at his perfect best. It's, he just goes out there, and the Cubs just seem to rally around him and win, even when he does give up runs. So a win is a win, and that's what the Cubs got today. All right, when we get back, we'll talk about the start to July, 2 games in, the All-Stars that were named today for the Chicago Cubs, and we'll talk about a little bit of the bad stuff. I know people want to talk about it. 3 for 14 with runners in scoring position. Lots of runs were left on the diamond today for the Chicago Cubs. We can't ignore the bad, even though the Cubs got the win. So we'll get into that next year in the Locked On Cubs postcast on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. Today's episode is brought to you by Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trade. Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. If you need help with an order, Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always be talking to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, and now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, you can use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Today's show is also brought to you by Monarch Money. If you ever wish managing your money felt easier, with Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center, so you can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. I know it is more than just a budgeting app. That's also what we mostly use it for, just to keep everything tracked in one place. It's awesome to have at Monarch Money. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. All right, 3 for 14 with runners in scoring position today. So obviously not great. Kind of everyone guilty of this one. It's not like you can pin one guy. I know Dansby Swanson's up to the plate after that pitcher was a disaster. Hits Kyle Tucker, nearly hits Seiya, or throws it in the same spot that Seiya Suzuki, if he was a lefty, would have hit him. So walks him, nearly hits PCA. Man, it's just brutal, that pitcher. He was awful. But Dansby Swanson comes up, bases loaded, doesn't get it done. Again, he's not the only party tonight. Multiple guys in the lineup today had the chance to drive in runs with runners in scoring position, and they did not get it done. Whether it's Nico, Tucker, they're all guilty at some point. Again, PCA and Seiya Suzuki, the only guys that come through. Now, look, I know that this is a frustrating thing. I think for all of us it is, leaving a lot of runs on there, especially when you look at the end of the game and Daniel Palencia is struggling to get it done. That's where you feel like those runs are left on the table, and you definitely feel like it's extra frustrating as a fan in that situation where they're not able to come through earlier in the game. And then look, it's not like this is a one-game sample size. I do know we all know that they have struggled at times with putting runners in scoring position. I'm gonna give you a positive spin though. Okay, the positive spin is that those guys were on base for a reason. That is a super glass half full, super positive view on that. But it is, you still have all those guys on base, whether they're walks or getting hits. And we've seen plenty of times this year where the Cubs have put on big numbers, crooked numbers, and are able to get it done in that situation. So today was just not that day, unfortunately, for the Cubs. But again, in the end, it doesn't matter. The Cubs won 5-4. So they found a way to get it done. All right, All-Stars. And if you guys got questions or comments, you can drop them here in the chat. I'm just going to get rid of this Jeff guy real quick here. He's annoying me. So if you look at the All-Stars, not surprised. It's PCA. It's Kyle Tucker. Again, Seiya Suzuki, I think he makes it. Michael Busch, I think, has a very nice chance to make the All-Star team. I think Matthew Boyd should make the All-Star team. Very deserving to be there this weekend. So today was the first announcement with Tucker and PCA. Cool video watching Craig Counsell announce it in the clubhouse to all the guys on the team that both those guys will be starters. But that starts off what should be a very exciting part of this weekend, where you should see a bunch of guys get a chance to go out there and be an all-star this year and represent the Chicago Cubs. So you start the series off 2-0, and look, get the sweep tomorrow. You got put it on them. Like go out there, get another win, find a way to just keep this thing rolling. June was tough. Like there's no denying. June was tough for the Chicago Cubs. It was not great. So hopefully July can be much better, because July has been, if you look at the June swoon that the Cubs have had in the past, I think it's fair to say they went through that again this year. This is all still a very positive start for the Cubs through these first two games. So finish this one off tomorrow. Then you got the Cardinals. Just keep rolling. That's what the Cubs got to do right now. Milwaukee's hot in your heels. So this is a good start. I would say this is a very positive thing and good way to start the month of July. Now, what I'm hoping for the most here to look at the next, 3 starts for the Cubs is it's been great for Boyd. It's been great for Imanaga for the most part this year, outside of the injury, of course, but want to see this thing really get rolling. I think the Cubs really got to get more consistent starts from the other 3 guys before they make a trade. There's always questions in the chat about the trade deadline. We'll see. The 7 to 10 days that was, reported or believed to be happening obviously has come and gone. We are now, 28 days away roughly by the time you're probably listening to this away from the trade deadline. But the Cubs pitching, it's clear they need to get it and they need to add to it. But you also just need the guys that are here right now, Colin Ray, Jameson Tyon, Cade Horton, to just be better overall and just keep this thing rolling. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if we see again at an opener. It was successful the 2 times they used it. I think it's a little strange they went away with it so much after 2 positive starts for both Ben Brown and Colin Ray from the opener. But the Cubs have just kind of abandoned that. I thought that was a tell that Craig Counsell might use it more frequently. I don't think you just have to be against stacking lefties at the top of the lineup, but would be nice to see the opener come back if these guys are struggling as much as they were in the first inning as they kind of have this year. K. Horton specifically in his last start. O'Reilly says in the chat here, this year is flying. It is, but that's because Cubs baseball is fun again. That's why. Because Cubs baseball is good, it's fun, and look, it's a long year when a team is not good. 162 is brutal when a team is not good or playing to expectations. The Cubs, obviously now above 50 wins on the season, are exceeding that and more. So Suzuki good, PCA good, Shota Imanaga pretty solid in this one. Overall, a good day for the Chicago Cubs. We'll be back tomorrow live after the final game of this 3-game series against the Guardians. My name is Joe George. Find me on all social media platforms at Joe George Radio. So thanks for watching. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Go Cubs.